It's a fairly quiet industrial East Texas city about 35 miles north of Longview, hard hit by the recent massive layoffs of Lone Star Steel, the area's primary source of employment. And so, for many families here in Daingerfield, Christmas won't be that merry. But one thing that's kept the spirit high here is the town's football team, a team that any city would be proud of, a team on the verge of winning a state championship. And what a nice early Christmas present that would be.
I think it's done a lot to draw the community together, the spirit on Fridays and Saturday night when we go out to football games. Well, it's just amazing, the number of people. About half of our entire population in Marsh County will be at those football games.
This town's been pretty crazy about this team, haven't it?
Yes, they have. Just about everybody in this town is crazy about the Tigers. They're crazy not to be crazy about the Tigers.
Vince, your thoughts about the Daingerfield Tigers?
It's the best one I've ever seen. Their defense is absolutely awesome, and the offense is almost as good.
I think they're fantastic. They're just the greatest that I've ever seen.
They're going to win it this weekend?
Oh, yeah. About 40 to nothing.
Yeah.
40 to nothing.
40 to zip.
Another shutout, without a doubt.
We're going to make another record.
That's it.
Right down there.
An unbreakable record.
There doesn't seem to be any doubt about the Tigers' chances Saturday against Sweeney. Daingerfield's barely broken a sweat in 15 games, steamrolling through the regular season and the playoffs. And there's no reason to think they won't do it again one last glorious time. Miles Taylor, Channel 7 Sports, in Daingerfield. Daingerfield came into the game as a heavy favorite, with a long, long list of impressive credentials. But after all, this was for the state championship and a place in the record books. And even the #1 ranked Tigers were a bit anxious going in.
I guess we was a little jumpy, kind of too anxious to go, and we finally calmed down a little bit. You know, a lot of people here, and I think there's a little bit more than what we've been used to having, but we calmed down, you know, second quarter, you know, about the middle of first, you know, something like that, calmed down. Everybody started doing right, and we just started having a good time out there.
And appropriately, it was the defense that got the Tigers going and led to their first score of the game. Number 33, Vic Edmond, broke through and blocked a Sweeney punt, giving Daingerfield excellent field position at their own 49-yard line. 10 plays later, quarterback Doug Pittman connected for the first of 2 touchdowns on the night. This one to number 49, Herman West, from 16 yards out. The extra point was no good, and at the end of the first quarter, the Tigers led 6-0.
Greatest thing for me about it is I was the first one to get the first touchdown of the game. That was the ultimate for me.
The defense continued to play outstanding football in the second quarter, holding Sweeney at bay. Daingerfield allowed only 2 first downs in the first 24 minutes and only 46 total yards, keeping the Bulldogs deep in their own territory. Meanwhile, the offense exploded in the second quarter, scoring 3 times in a span of 4 minutes to blow it open. The first came on Pittman's second touchdown pass. This one, a nicely executed 20-yard play to Eric Everett on 3rd and 15. The Tigers went for 2 and converted, and it was 14-0 Daingerfield. The Tigers then followed that up with 2 touchdowns on the ground. The first was scored by Danny Mitchell, who waltzed into the end zone from 4 yards out. That made it 21-0. And then moments later, Johnny Herndon bolted 24 yards for the first of 2 running touchdowns for him on the night. Again, the extra point was good, and the Tigers had the game well in hand at the half, leading 28-0. So by halftime, the game was already over for all intents and purposes. And again, it was just a matter of how much the Tigers would win by and whether or not the consecutive shutout streak would continue. And continue it did, as the defense was determined to finish up in grand style and preserve its incredible scoreless streak. The offense padded its already more than safe lead with 2 second-half touchdowns, one coming on a 30-yard interception return by Mark Austin. And the Tigers had what they'd worked so hard for all season long, beating Sweeney 42-0 for the Class 3A state championship.
I think, without any question, they're the finest AAA team that's ever played. A lot of people thought Pittsburgh was, and we saw Pittsburgh and played Pittsburgh back then, and And they were awfully good. They were a very dominating type team, and they didn't have as good offense as we had, and they had a good defense, but they wasn't as overall quick as we were. So the kids did a great job of really cooperating and pulling for one cause, and I think that's why they won.
The championship is Daingerfield's first in 15 years. And tonight at 10, Sports Director Jerry Gumbert will have more on that story.
I feel wonderful. It's the best thing that ever happened to me so far.
It's not that Daingerfield won the state championship, but the way it was won. Somehow, the Tigers strung together 16 straight wins, including 14 by shutouts. And Daingerfield also cruised through the playoffs without giving up a single point.
That's the greatest moment of my life, right here, winning state.
This also has to be one of the great moments in high school football, as Daingerfield not only set 4 state records this season, but on Saturday set a national shutout record as well.
How do I feel? Happy. I don't feel my hurt knee again no more. And just great, I guess. And I just hope we do it again sometime. I love this.
And as it has been all season long, the difference in Saturday's game was defense. Daingerfield held the Bulldogs to just 56 yards rushing, while intercepting 4 passes and 1 for a touchdown.
If it wasn't for the hard work and all the time, we spent after school and stuff, working for what we wanted to accomplish. We set this goal a long time ago, and just something that we done reached, and I feel real great about it.
We worked for it ever since 6th and 7th grade. We've been together for a long time. This is what we always talked about, what we always thought about, and what we got.
And so this marks the end of a perfect season for the Tigers. Perfect because Daingerfield went unbeaten in 16 games. And perfect because they achieved the ultimate, a Class 3A state football championship. Jerry Gumbert, Channel 7 Sports in Waco.
The Daingerfield Tigers currently own the state's longest high school football winning streak at 22 games. The last time the Tigers lost was to McGregor in the playoffs 2 years ago. And since the start of the 1982 season, Daingerfield has racked up an incredible 32-1-1 record, including their 6-0 start this season.
Really, it's unbelievable to me, because I ain't never experienced nothing like that. I just hope that we can keep winning, and keep our reputation and tradition.
It's something that most people don't ever get to happen, is get a winning streak into the 20s, and so we hope that, it doesn't end too quick, because it's be tough to start over. And I think we continue, to improve. We can add several to it.
When the Tigers take the field, they're an awesome group. They've rolled up outlandish statistics, and for Daingerfield to win by 40 to 50 points is nothing.
I think it's a drive with the boys, and, we run over some teams pretty good this year. But I don't think any of them's really giving us a challenge, and I think when one of them does give us a challenge, we're going to see how we really can drive.
You would think that a team with the success of Daingerfield, the practices would be calm and collective. But it is quite the opposite. The Tigers are still improving, and the coaches are pushing them to the limit.
We just want to concentrate on what you got to do. Go out and do it the best you can.
We got to get better for the better teams, and we can't get better just going through it dummy, and trying to work on assignments. We have to work on full speed execution, and the kids did a good job the last 2 days.
Daingerfield has been ranked as the Class 3A's #1 team for over a year now. They won a state championship in record style last December, and the Tigers want to repeat that feat again this year.
Being back this year as a senior and the rest of them, I believe we could do it again, and, if it gets right down to it, we will do it again.
From Daingerfield, David Smoke, East Texas Sports. It's business as usual for Daingerfield as the top-ranked Tigers move another step towards what they hope is a second straight Class 3A state championship. In the Tigers' 45-0 shutout victory over Linden Kildare last week, it was the defense that dominated,
holding Lyndon Kildare to 13 yards rushing and 109 yards total offense.